ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Arbitration Studios, traipsing our way across the whole damn thing of Mass Effect. I'm JP Arbiter.
And I'm Captain Jack.
And we busted a corrupt businessman on a corrupt planet. So, did our part.
Indeed.
So now let's find our little, blah, blah. Matriarch.
Matriarch, yeah.
That's
we're looking
it.
for the matriarch.
Access to the garage is restricted.
That's cool.
Excuse me.
Yes, that's genuine. Drive safely. The weather's supposed to be pretty bad out in the Alutsk Valley.
Alright. Well, how bad could it be?
It's raining Geth.
Hallelujah! I mean, I don't... give me some time, I could write that song.
I have to be honest with you. I think the Geth look better in this one than they do in later games. At least those spidery ones, the ones that jump and hang on the wall, they look smoother.
Well, you never saw the spidery, springy, flippy, spinny, shitty ones again.
Yeah, that's what I'm missing. I like those.
I
mean, I don't like them insofar as, I think these are cool and whatnot. I just like them as an enemy. I think they're a very effective enemy.
Right.
You're just
Yes.
random and giggles.
Yes, we're in Michael Bain mode now.
We're in Michael Bay mode now. Very good. So, in starting this today, and I was going to wait for a transition, but I really don't feel like I can. We're going to have to talk about the elephant in the room.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure many people think the elephant of the room is one thing, and it really isn't. The elephant in the room is, of course, the teaser trailer for...
Oh, for the next Mass Effect.
5.
For a moment there, I thought that was a Quarian, until I realized, no, it was Liara, because the hands that they showed had 5 digits instead of 3.
Yeah.
So, kind of got my hopes up there that this was a Milky Way in the far-ish future.
Well, I feel like it's going to be very interesting because they specifically use the music from this Mass Effect, or a remixed version of the music from this Mass Effect, which, of course, anybody that has fallen in love with this game,
the music's one of the strong points.
It is like, it is like, sound is like smell, in that it really sets off memories. And so when I hear this music, I think of, the great memories of, my first run through this game and just discovering all this stuff and dying right at this point like 7 times.
Because they set up a blockade.
Right, exactly. But honestly, that music that comes on and you hear it, and you're like, it was pretty, to me, telling that maybe we're going to get if not a continuation of the story within the Milky Way, something that is more familiar while still being new and exciting.
My only problem with that. Now, I'm of the opinion that there was only one moral choice at the end of this trilogy, and we'll get into that point later. But, ostensibly, you could still choose the outcome of Shepard's story. And in creating a game that is a continuation of that story, there is no way that you can do so that does not involve saying definitely what happened at the end of Mass Effect 3. And so I'm nervous about that outcome, because particularly since I have such a hardline stance that there was only one acceptable solution, and if mine isn't picked, I mean, hell, if to decryption to well, yeah, that's right. I came in here to kick ass and take names. Fire! But even if this story is not a continuation of Shepard's story and Liara is only a bridge character,
right?
Which I'm perfectly fine with, but you still will have a definitive answer as to which of the final 3 and or 4 options that the ending of the Mass Effect trilogy had, and I'm weary. I'm nervous.
Well, I
will be less nervous if they have a definitive ending and it's the one that I believe is the only acceptable one.
Yeah.
But that's me being selfish.
Yeah. Here's my thing. I am a decent storyteller. I could work my way through each ending and start a game based on each ending. So if I can do that, I'm not so arrogant to think that only I could tell that kind of a story, that they could set up a game based on, whatever decision you made at the end of the trilogy that moves forward, that moves the story forward. And it doesn't, it wouldn't, whatever you decide, that's how the next game starts.
Yeah, but the thing is that with the endings that were available in Mass Effect 3, each one of them fundamentally shifts the status quo so much that I don't think you can import a Mass Effect 3 save file and say, okay, well then here's how the universe is, because each of the three universes that you set up will be so fundamentally different on a basic level.
Yeah, and it's a storytelling. It is a.
My point is that you can't use that variability as a starting point.
And it is a storytelling challenge. Mm-hmm. It's certainly a challenge that I would love to.
I also wish that they had the guts and said we're continuing the story in Andromeda, but
you and I both, because. You and I think, in some ways share the idea that just because new things are okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay to put something that, it's chocolate, but it's chocolate on nougat, instead of just a plain chocolate bar, which is what we have been eating. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Am I making sense in the sense of I am perfectly fine with Andromeda. I think Andromeda had some technical difficulties that
well, the biggest problem with Andromeda was at the time they were trying to they were trying to create a system and failed. They were trying to create a type of game world that was similar to what was promised with No Man's Sky. And, forgetting the fact that, let's remember that No Man's Sky couldn't deliver what No Man's Sky promised.
You're absolutely right.
Because they were trying to go for procedurally generated worlds and variability with the story, and that just didn't work. And then they had to throw the ingredients that they had into a pot and see what kind of chili they could make. And so and nothing particularly wrong with that, but I mean that did lead to some of the problems and issues that Mass Effect had. Is that they had 2.5 years to develop it was longer. It was like 5 years to develop this game, but it felt like they crammed it together in 18 months, and that's because fundamentally they did.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
And the fact that it came out as good as it did, it wasn't Fallout New Vegas, hey, let's churn out a game in 18 months and see what happens, but it was certain. but it was certainly like the next best worthy attempt.
I have again, my only complaint with
What?
you went into a cutscene. My only complaint with Andromeda, and of course we're jumping ahead here, but
Well, we're not going to be covering Andromeda. We're doing
my only complaint with
What's that?
Andromeda has always and probably will always be just the technical issues. I thought the game itself was a brilliant storytelling. Honestly, I thought the storytelling was good. It was a good idea. It was new. It was story we hadn't heard before. So I liked Andromeda, barring again the technical kind of flub-ups that happened. But I think it suffered from the same thing that a lot of, when you have such a rabid fan base, which for many science fiction properties have rabid fan bases. When you have a rabid fan base, you end up with a situation where if it's not basically exactly like people's I hate to say it this way, but people's fan fiction, a lot of fans are going to get toxic about it, and that is the truth. I'm people can have their opinion, and I'm all for it, and I'm fine with that. But there is a certain point where your opinion is toxic out of selfishness. It's not. It's not. This is my opinion because I feel like the technical issues made the game almost impossible to play. I feel like the story was not engaging. I feel like this, and there's a point where people get about science fiction properties, especially where it's, well, how come they didn't have my favorite character? How come it's not based on the stuff that I like? It's just, it becomes toxic.
And if you do what the fans demand all of the time, eventually you'll get Wolverine on the cover of every X-Men issue, even if he's not in that particular issue.
And or Deadpool, one of the two of those. And so I feel like with Mass Effect, I feel lucky that they gave us a 4 and that they're giving us a 5. Because if I'm a producer, if I'm a money guy, I'm not going to give fans anything new. Because why take the chance? Because they're just going to crap all over it. Mm-hmm. I'm always surprised when, a game gets a sequel, honestly. Because they're never going to, the main fans are always going to have a problem with it because it's not going to match their fan fiction. So that Mass Effect got all the sequels it did, and honestly, in my opinion, got better every sequel. I don't care what anybody says. I think Andromeda is its own thing and really should be looked at as its own thing and should not be compared with the other Mass Effects. I think it's like comparing, one of the Mario Brothers games that is set in the Mario Brothers world to Super Mario Brothers 3. It's
not that that's an inherently unfair.
It's an inherently unfair comparison. And so, but I think 2 was better than 1 in this, and I think the awards, and I think most of...
Honestly, Mass Effect 2 is probably my favorite in terms of the structure.
Yeah. I think characterization, voice acting, and storytelling get better as it goes on. But I think overall, I like when we get more of what we like. And it doesn't have to be the exact same thing, to be what we like. Neat storytelling, interesting relationships between the characters, great little snide comments that pop up. All the things that excite you about this, you can do and have it be brand new. And they do, and that's what the next ones in the series do. Yeah, I'm looking forward to 5. It's basically, roundabout way of me saying I'm looking forward to 5, and I'm surprised they're giving us a 5, based on how fans can be.
Yeah.
And I give them the benefit of the doubt and call them fans. And I give them the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, you guys are fans and you do like this stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, if you're going to crap on everything that a producer puts out,
no, up and down and up.
Everything that a game designer or a storyteller or anything like that puts out, how are you going to, why are you expecting them to put out anything for you? Anything new?
Yeah, we're just going to Omnigel this puzzle.
Fuck yes. Omnigel the shit out of that.
There we go. That's why I broke down all of that gear.
And again, we're talking about the next in the series being better. The lack of Omnigel in the series.
Well, they also stopped doing a lot of things that demanded Omnigel. You either could bypass it, or the puzzle was a lot more simple and a lot less twitchy. And
they give you. They take a page later on. They take a page out of Batman Arkham games and give you mini games that you can actually play.
Yeah.
Like you can actually, and they're not just Simon Says.
I love this crap. A pop up.
How do I shut this thing up?
This system is monitored to respond to the name Mira. May I ask your name?
Yeah.
Commander Shepard. I work for the Citadel's Special Tactics and Reconnaissance.
One moment, please. Council authority confirmed. You are entitled to secure access of all...
You're damn right I'm entitled.
As a fan of Resident Evil, I do love the fact that the Spectre's official name, Special Tactics and Reconnaissance, is the same as the Raccoon City Police Department Special Unit in the Resident Evil series. All I need is an 8-foot-tall maniac going, "Stars!"
I mean, we got beautiful Rex. Love me some Rex.
Alright.
Situation here.
One moment, please. Diagnostics in progress.
15 minutes later.
Critical failure.
I know, right?
Main reactor shut down in accordance with emergency containment procedures. Manual restart required.
Cool.
Critical failure. Landline connections are disabled. Passenger tram systems are offline.
Cool.
Report complete. Do you have an additional system status query?
Nope.
That's all I need right now.
Very well, Commander.
Let's go fix some shit.
Yay!
Yay.
They sent in James Bond to be a subway repair technician.
Manual restart required.
I would not say that she was James Bond.
I mean, alright, Jason Bourne.
Line connections are disabled. Passenger trams are offline.
I will say that, again, much like in the second game, I think that this company that put out this game and the writers and the producers and the programmers could do an amazing sci-fi zombie horror game. Mm-hmm. I also think that they could do an amazing aliens game, and this particular where we're at now, I believe, is the proof for that. Mm-hmm. The first time I played through this, it scared the bejesus out of me.
Well, because big-ass bugs.
User alert.
Yeah, big-ass bugs. I was... oh, jeez. What is this? Going through this for the first time.
2 had already come out, 3 had not.
Right. 2 had come out, 3 had not, so... I forget when it was, but I was living alone at the time, I believe. I was living alone. I wasn't... I was coming home from work. I didn't turn on a lot of lights. It was just me and the pets in the dark playing this. And the jump scares were real. It was real. And so it was, oh God!
The jump scares apply even when you situations like just right now, where it's like, oh,
You open
hi,
the
here's
door.
this guy.
there's a Terminator sitting right there.
You open a door and here's Arnold Schwarzenegger looking at you, and you're looking at him, and he's looking at you, and you're looking at there's no instantaneous. Everyone needs to process.
I honestly think that would be hilarious if you opened your door and the former governor of California was standing there, and it was like the working out.
I love that picture of him in a Hawaiian shirt, sunglasses, riding an electric bike. Because now it's like, oh, the Terminator is now becoming Master Roshi.
Right.
And anyone who has been a long-time admirer of Arnold Schwarzenegger knows that he's also a humongous perv, just like Master Roshi.
Yeah. It's true. He is. I think I always liked how human the characters on this game were, and in order to be human, even the ones that are not human, you got to have flaws. You got to be flawed. And
remember
I
when
like the fact that the characters in this game are in fact flawed.
I like the fact that Liara spends all of her time, and it makes sense for the character because even though she is extremely old by human standards, she's still basically a teenager.
Indeed.
But she's trying to be all ethereal and wise in this. She doesn't use contractions or anything.
Right.
And then that slips in the after this game.
Yeah.
Like she's still compassionate and curious and everything, but after the events of or not even after the events of Mass Effect 2, in the off-screen developments between 1 and 2, she realizes just how stupid she was being, because teenagers who think they're being impressive end up just doing stupid shit.
Oh God!
You want some of this? Huh? Oh, come on, motherfucker! Oh, you want some too? That's right! Come get some! Fuck you! Rest in peace, Bill Paxton! Game over, man! Game over!
Oh, you know who, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I was going somewhere with it, but I totally forgot where I was going with that. Much like, using my uncanny ability to bring things back to this game, the first time I played through this game, I would get lost constantly. I would be like, oh, I got turned around, it was frustrating.
The thing about to bring it back to Bill Paxton for a second, I had watched I had watched the movie Aliens and listened to cast and crew commentaries throughout the entire thing. Because stuff like that is just important for me. It's fascinating. I love it. Production is what I love more than anything else. It's why I don't care about spoilers when people want to talk about plots of movies. Yeah. I know that I'm in the minority of that, and I try to educate people on my perspective of it. Because the worst part about anti-spoiler culture is that not only do they not want to be spoiled, but they don't want to be the person who spoils. I'm just like, no, dude, it's fine.
Hey, look, you and I are on the same page with that. I lose no enjoyment from knowing what's going to happen. And in fact, there are some movies and games that I absolutely look up certain aspects just so I can know and not be taken aback. Generally speaking, if there's a dog in the movie, I gotta know if that dog's gonna make it through. Because I ain't watching that movie if that dog don't make it through.
Boomer will live.
That's just how that's how I roll. So, to me, I'm on board with you on the whole spoiler thing.
So the stories go. First off, Bill Paxton, who played Hudson in Aliens, apparently, he is a loudmouth,
tram station has been sealed.
jackass, I think is the best way to do it. That's just his character.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Bill Paxton. I absolutely could believe that.
But Aliens famously had this 8-year-old girl as part of the cast, and so like during cuts, he went from that to Uncle Bill. He was saying, he was looking out for her, telling her stories, blah blah. Hey, that when they say action, it's make believe, and when it's cut, we can come down, right?
Yeah.
All that other stuff. Just being a good person, and and it was interesting to hear both Bill Paxton and then in a later interview, Carrie Henn talk about that particular aspect of it, and that was just a.
Control user alert. The fail-safe system is
So the other side of it, which is not a Bill Paxton story, but it's still a Carrie Henn story, is when Newt was captured by the aliens and Ripley goes in to try and rescue her and whatnot. James Cameron felt that because he was the only member of the crew of the film, not the cast, but the crew of the film, that Carrie had been regularly in contact with. Because Aliens was a British film, so the people working one day are not necessarily the people working the next day, that sort of thing. So he was the one who put Carrie Henn in all that goop. And so here she is, she's sitting on like a wooden box or something, sitting down and getting herself all oriented. She looks up apparently at James Cameron during all of this and completely deadpan says, "It should be illegal for grown-ups to do this to kids."
It is, dear. It is.
Unless you're in a movie, because that is acting.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It is actually kind of amazing how much shit you can get away with if you're an actor.
Hey, I've seen the movie Kids. I agree.
Okay, decryption skill tool. All right, how do I get in? Oh, I guess I gotta tell her to.
online, connected to subsidiary facilities. How may I assist you?
Tell me what happened here.
I'm sorry, but I need a more specific query.
Okay.
That's all I need right now.
Very well, Commander.
How do I? How does I does? Look, there is a way where I tell her.
Facilities. How may I?
What's this about loose container?
Danger. The tram station has been sealed in the interest. Very. Releasing safeties.
There we go.
Discretion.
That's all I need right now.
Very.
Why couldn't I? Oh, that's not a door over there, but okay.
I've never actually had to do this.
Kerpunk. Because you usually had an electronic skill high enough to just turn on the flamethrowers in there. Splat! God bless explosive shotguns.
I still think that they should have had an automatic shotgun in this game. But that's mainly because I'm kind of in love with that thing.
Alrighty. So, we've wandered around, we fixed the tram, we forced our way through. Now we gotta get on a train. Look, boss, a train, a train! So, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to get on the train. So, until then, we'll be seeing you, kids.
Deuces!